our second and our final panel of 3 athletes. We have Kayla Alexandra from Milton, Ontario, a professional basketball player in the WNBA and a member of Canada's senior national team. We have Brigette Lacquette from Mallard, Manitoba, a defenseman on Canada's national hockey team, a silver medalist at the 2018 Winter Olympics, and a professional hockey player in the PWHPA. And finally, Annie Guglia, a professional skateboarder from Montreal, Quebec, who will be headlining the sport's Olympic debut in Tokyo next summer. So welcome to our newest panelists. Hello. Hey, Kayla.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Bridget.
Hey.
And then Annie's coming in here, I think, soon, hopefully. Let's see. Were you guys able to watch the first part of the panel or tune in at all?
Yes.
Exciting? Feeling motivated?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Well, let's see if we can get Annie in here. I have no idea how this works. In the meantime, okay, well, I guess our producer is trying to get Annie in. I can just ask you guys how your summer's been. I know it's a different summer for a lot of us, especially people that had, ambitions of going to Tokyo or, competing this summer. So what have you been up to and how have things been? We'll start with you, Kayla.
I've had to get a little creative with my training, seeing as everything shut down and felt like we were on a peak, looking forward to competition, and then everything just stopped. So during this time, just being creative, working out at home, then also just working also on like my mindset too, like just trying to stay positive and productive during this time, because I don't think this is something you can prepare for. So this has been a really great opportunity just to like work on just being positive during this difficult time.
And you, Bridget?
Yeah, I guess I've just been trying my best to keep busy here in Calgary.
You've been playing a lot of golf.
I've been golfing a lot, yes, keeping myself busy. I've also been running a lot. So once the gyms and everything closed down, like I was going to start like, different types of, I was going to like try CrossFit and stuff or boxing, but then everything closed on March 16th. So then I was like, well, might as well start running. So I started running a lot. So I've been doing that, and then my home gym came in. I had like a rack and bars and some weights come in, so I was able to use that. But I was using a couple dumbbells for like probably 2 months straight. So I benched for the first time last week, and it was pretty pathetic, not gonna lie. So, but yeah, doing that and kind of just keeping busy.
Awesome. Well, in the meantime, I just talked to Kevin. We're working on getting Annie involved, so we'll continue on our panel when she's able to join us. So we will continue with her. So for both of you, you're playing, traditional team sports. I've been lucky enough to play team sports my whole life, and we touched on this a bit in the first panel. But what is it like to have these support systems in basketball, in hockey, where you're surrounded by teammates, coaches, role models, and even competitors that can help you, push yourself as a teammate and as a leader? And how does that, relate into other aspects of your life, whether that's as a student or a professional, or, when you retire, learning these team building skills? If one of you want to jump on for that one first.
I'll take that one. Yeah, I guess playing in a team sport, I mean, it's pretty much like a family, right? They all become so close, and creating those relationships and those friendships, and it's just awesome. I met through all my best friends through sport, and mainly through hockey. So it's hockey has given me this opportunity that not a lot of people have, and not a lot of kids have. So I grew up in a small community, about 150 people, about 4 hours north of Winnipeg, middle of nowhere. So, coming from such a small community, I guess just, and getting to where I am today, there obviously was a lot of, I have had a lot of support, and I've been fortunate to have such a supportive family. Like, if my parents couldn't take me to hockey, my uncles would step in, or my aunts would step in. So, I have had a lot of uncles drive me to hockey and whatnot. So, it's having that support system there, and right throughout to where I am today through Hockey Canada, where we have access to, training and ice and, basically all the top top-notch coaches. We have access to everything. So I guess I'm just pretty fortunate to be in the position I am today. And it gave me the opportunity to go to school in the States. When I was younger, I made this goal where I wanted to play on Team Canada. I wanted to play in the Olympics, and I wanted to get a scholarship to the States. And that's hockey's given me all of that.
Just quickly, hi Annie. Thanks for joining us. You're good?
Yeah.
That's okay. There's always a technical issue, so we're glad we got you in. Just so you know, we're talking about team sports. Even though you are a skateboarder, I want to hear about what it was like to join the first ever female skate crew in Canada. But I'll let you catch up. I'll let Kayla answer first about what team sports allow for us. She's a basketball player, so she's traditionally team sport. And then I want to hear from you, Annie, about what it was like to be a part of that first ever skate crew. So Kayla, go first.
So there are just so many intangibles and so many opportunities and blessings that come from playing in a team sport from my experience. So I agree with Brigette. First off, it's that family. Your teammates become your sisters because you on each other. They're the ones who are going to encourage you when you're not doing your best or you're feeling down, and you're going to be that same encouragement for your teammates to help lift them up. Also, it's that iron sharpens iron, whether it's your teammates or your coaching staff. Like, you're always learning from each other and you're always challenging each other to be the best version of yourself and to be better, which I really love about the sport. And then also just the opportunities that come from playing a team sport as well. Like in basketball especially, like I was such a shy kid growing up, and I wasn't very outgoing. I didn't like to talk to people, but through my teammates, I built friendships that way. I found my voice. You learn how to speak up and stand up for yourself. You learn communication skills are important, like not just in sports, but outside of sports and life as well too. And then just the opportunities that come as well from, like Brigette said, getting the opportunity to go and get an education, work opportunities. Like the opportunities and the blessings that come from sports are like invaluable in my opinion.
And so, yes, Annie, I was just mentioning you're a professional skateboarder. My image of skateboarding is one person on a skateboard, but you've told me, previously before this, it's much more than that. And you've been able to kind of create a community in an individual sport. So if you can tell us a little bit about what that means to you and how that's helped you kind of become a role model for girls in skateboarding.
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, skateboarding is an individual sport, but it's like there's a big collectivity within skateboarding. It's not just you and your skateboard by yourself. Like when you go to a skate park, you meet other people like in any other activity. So it's really about that. And for me, the turning point, like what really got me hooked to skateboarding is when I met a group of girls in Montreal, and in 2006, they were called Skateboarders. So and
Awesome.
yeah, so I just started skating with them, and that really I think that was really important for me as like a teenage girl to meet another group of girls who skated. And so I realized like 10 years later that there were no groups like that anymore in Montreal. So I started a monthly meetup for girls to come to like different skate parks in Montreal and just skate together, learn, try skateboarding for the first time. And I think that's like, I think as an athlete, it's really important to be a leader in your community. And yeah, as a woman too, like try to get teenage girls and just girls in general to try sports. Maybe they'll find, like if they tried hockey or any other sport, maybe skateboarding is another option. So I'm just putting this out there.
I love it. I don't know, Kayla, if you've been able to see the chat, but everybody's going crazy for your shirt. Can you show us?
Yes. It's awesome.
Bet on Woman. It's awesome. The whole chat is, how do I buy this shirt? Where do I buy this shirt? So you're going to help with sales because that's a pretty cool shirt. So everyone wants it. It's perfect for this time. And I think one question I was really excited to ask you three is you're all competing in your sport at the professional level right now, WNBA, PWHPA, and professional skateboarder. But, when we talk about women's professional sport, there's a lot that has to grow still. We know that we're, not on par with what men's professional sport is, but here we are. And I want to inspire that next generation to see that professional sport can be something they should achieve and they should strive for. So, what can we do to promote your sport and the professional level of the sport? And why, if I'm a young girl watching this, do I want to play professional hockey or be a professional basketball player or skateboard professionally? What does that mean for me, and how can we continue to grow these professional levels?
I guess I'll start. So first off, I think with any sport, you should always play it first because you love it and you enjoy it, because it's that love and that joy that's going to fuel you to keep pushing through, especially when times get rough. With respect to the actual support of this, when it comes to our women's sports, I say if you enjoy a game and you love watching it, like try to go out and actually support those players in real life if you can. If you can go to like their events, or if you can try and watch it on TV. And I know a big thing that's hard for women's sports right now is the visibility. It's really hard. Like I know, especially for the W, it's really hard to just be able to go flip on the station and try and find a WNBA game where you can watch other women who look like you playing a sport that you enjoy. So I think we need more help from a media standpoint, so that young girls can see like, oh my goodness, there's a girl who looks like me. She's from my neighborhood or she's from my community. Like if she can do that, I can do that too. Because I think visibility and representation is huge. Like when girls see something that they can become, it becomes more of a reality and they can see like, okay, that's going to be me in the future. So I think it just starts with more visibility, supporting each other, and then also just looking up to someone who looks like you, because then it becomes more of a reality.
1000%. Can I jump in on that?
You go for it.
So I mean the same thing for, like, if I take skateboarding as an example, for like such a long time, even right now, people think it's like very male dominated. It's like not for girls. I hear that a lot, and it's true to a certain extent, but with the inclusion in the Olympic program, what I saw as a big difference is that now, for example, before like X Games, they would only show the men on TV and they would never show the women. And now, because in the Olympics, a gold medal for women is worth the same as the men, now they kind of like, it like quickly escalated to equality almost. Like it just went, everyone just went like, okay, we'll have the same like prize money this for competitions and everything like that. So, and they showcase like women competition on TV. And I think for young girls, that's really important, because that's one of the reasons why I think it has this like image of like, oh, it's only men because they only showcase men. But if you go to a skate park in 2020, it's like almost 50-50 now. And I think it's really good for the future. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I guess just for hockey, hockey is, traditionally, a male-dominated sport, and growing up, I was the only girl playing on the hockey team. So, it's definitely come a long ways. But again, I think it's just the visibility and coming from like a media standpoint and having the support there. The main goal for the PWHPA is to have that viable league that it's sustainable. So I guess it's definitely a step in the right direction for where we're at, I guess, with the showcases and basically using our own platforms to promote it as well. So I think we've come a long ways, definitely, in the last few years, even since I started playing hockey in the last 25 years. So but we definitely have a long ways to go, but again, it's just having the support.
Yeah, and Brigette, this question specifically for you, as you mentioned, you grew up in a really small town, and I'm not sure if everybody on the panel or our audience knows, but you were the first First Nations hockey player to ever be named to Canada's national women's team, and that's an accomplishment in itself. But I think specifically, I want to know what it means to represent the Indigenous community and your athletes, and how can we help create a space and promote sport for marginalized communities or communities such as yourself?
Yeah, I guess, I'm very proud of, who I am and where I come from. So, I didn't even realize that I was the first until someone pointed it out. So, it's definitely, there's definitely some obstacles that I had to overcome. And I think that's what holds a lot of Native, I guess, First Nations kids back, is that, they reach an obstacle, and it's, it's something that's, I was fortunate to have the support, from my parents and from my grandparents and uncles and aunts, but not a lot of kids have that as well. So I think that, I guess, for myself, what my main goal was right after the Olympics was to go and share my story and show the kids that, there is hope, that, you can come from a small community. It doesn't matter where you come from. It's, basically, your passion. And, I did everything that I could to get to where I am today. And my parents have definitely helped that. I know that there are a lot of nations that do help with offsetting the cost, because, you know, hockey is a very expensive sport, and, you know, to this day, I still don't know how my parents did it. But, you know, for the kids in Saskatchewan, because my reserve is in Saskatchewan, there was a Winter Games, I guess, that was founded in 1974 by Chief Tony Cody. He was from Cody First Nation, where I'm from. And, you know, he felt that the majority of the First Nations youth were excluded from mainstream sports systems. So by creating these games, it kind of gave the kids the exposure and the opportunity to participate in, you know, sports that, you know, that we love. You know, I participated in the hockey and in the softball in the summer. So there was summer and winter games. So I guess we've created a lot of opportunities for ourselves, and again, you know, overcoming the different obstacles, you know, like racism. You know, I've been called every name in the book, you know, to this day, and you know, it's definitely hard to get through it, but I did, because, you know, I loved what I did, and, you know, I was so passionate to play hockey, and I loved playing hockey, and that was what drove me, you know, to move above and beyond all of that.
And I want to, you know, continue on this topic, as we've seen with the report, the rally report, that a lot of the factors that girls are not starting to play sports or not continuing to play sports, maybe because they, you know, are an athlete of color or are Indigenous. And I want to also bring in Annie, who, you know, you're openly LGBTQ, and how important is it for you to be your authentic self while you're competing, and to use this platform right now as an LGBTQ athlete?
Yeah, well, I just think it's important to be yourself, and that's like very cliche, but it's true. And especially like women in sports, I don't know if it's like that in every sport, but in skateboarding, it's like a very big cliche that like all girls who skate are gay, and like that's very like a big thing. And for a long time, like I just didn't want to like be that stereotype, so I didn't come out until I was like 21, 22. And I just think it's important to talk about it, and it's important to talk about it, not like for me, but for like if a young girl sees that it's possible, and it's like it's okay, and it's normal, and it's like not a problem, then that's why I do it, and I talk about it. It's not like to have attention or whatever, like not like, yeah, I just think it's very it's just important to be a good role model, and if you can be a role model by being yourself, I think that's the most authentic way to do it. So yeah.
And Kayla, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just like, people sometimes they'll use like something like that as an insult, but it's like, that's who I am. It's not, you're not insulting me, you're just describing me. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you're gay. Okay, yeah.
It's just a fact.
Yeah, it's just a fact.
Exactly. And I think it's a really positive message for a lot of girls that may be watching, that, you know, either identify or just, you know, not able to be their authentic self. So I appreciate you know, speaking about that candidly. And I wanted to ask Kayla about, you know, we spoke with Sarah earlier about athletes of color right now and your platform, but as we said in the report, a lot of girls are dropping out of sports because of this. And what would you say to an athlete of color that's struggling right now with the current state of the world, and what positive push can you say to say, hey, stay in it, you know, we have your back, and we're here to support you?
So if I'm being honest, like with everything that's going on in the world, it had me down for quite a bit, because it's just like, at the end of the day, we're all humans, and I wish like we all started and led with like love first, and like acceptance and tolerance for each other, because once we get to know each other, we're not all that different. Like, we have different personalities, different skill sets. We might like to play different sports, but at the end of the day, we're all human. We all have emotions and feelings. So I feel like if people would take the time to just lead with love first and tolerance and acceptance, that would make the world a better place. But my advice to young girls, especially now, I would just say, if you're passionate about a sport and you love it, like keep pushing through. Like, unfortunately, the world isn't a perfect place. We're gonna face discrimination or setbacks, obstacles along the way. But one of the things that I really do appreciate about sports is that I've faced so many obstacles and roadblocks, whether it be injuries, being cut from teams. And every time I told myself like I wasn't gonna let this stop me, and I persevered and built that resilience, I overcame every single time. And it's just something with that too, sets up your mindset. Because once you get through one obstacle and then another one, you realize like when I'm committed and I set goals and I believe in myself and my mindset is right, like I can do anything. Like you feel invincible, like you can conquer the world. So that would be my encouragement to young girls. Like stay positive. Like your mindset is everything. Like what you do up here affects how you live out your life, how you perform on the court, everything. So just stay positive and believe in yourself.
Really powerful message, and I appreciate all of you, speaking on this. And I want to make sure we get some audience participation in. So, we have a couple minutes left, so please ask your questions in the Q&A box. I can see them all, and I'm going to start reading some out. This is kind of a building on what we just talked about negativity or roadblocks, and this is from Shamanthi. How do you block out negative and not useful comments from others, whether that be about yourself or whether that be about your pathway in sport? Is there something that you do that allows you to just block out that hate and move forward? And what advice would you have to anyone that's faced any type of negativity as an athlete?
Yeah, I guess for myself, I try my best to kind of stay away from the comment section and, the social media and, on my Facebook page or my, my Twitter or my Instagram or anything like that. So I try my best not to read all the comments, about myself and kind of stay away from that. I do take some breaks from, social media too. So I just, honestly just delete it right off my phone. So I don't even have access to like clicking on it or anything like that. I think it's healthy to do that, to kind of give myself a break from, I guess, that kind of stuff, just for my mental health. And constantly, because you go on there and you constantly see what other people are doing, and then you kind of think of maybe you're comparing yourself to those people like that. So I mean, that's what I do. So I just try to limit myself, to be honest. And I guess if I do read stuff like that, I at the Olympics, I was kind of reading in the comment section a little bit, and that's where I learned all that, kind of taking a break from it, because it did get me down. I was like, okay, well, I would like screenshot it and then send it to my sister or something like that, and it would just be like, okay, she's like, okay, well, ignore it. Like you have that power, to, I guess to take control of that situation, rather than, just ignoring it. So that's just what I do.
Okay, so for me, I think number one is it's really important to know who you are and be confident in you, because once you figure out like who you are as a person, your values and all that, like no one else can take that away from you, and no one else can put their views on you. The second part too, this is a saying that I actually really like. If you don't know them personally, don't take it personal, because everybody has an opinion. They're always going to try and tell you what to do, what to say, how to act. But if you don't know them personally, I try not to take it personal. If it comes from someone who I know, whether it's a coach, a teammate, then I'll try and take what they're saying and try to take the constructive criticism from it. But besides that, like, people are always going to be throwing out their opinions of you out there. But I say just stick to who you are, be confident in yourself, and take the valuable information from those who actually care about you and want to see you succeed.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And I think, like, if someone says something bad about something that I do, that's good, like I don't know, teaching girls, like posting inspiring stuff. Like if you don't agree, for me, I don't know, that's how my brain works, but I just don't get offended at all. I'm like, what do you want me to do? Like, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm doing, I'm passionate about. And if you don't agree, it doesn't even affect me, because it's at some point, it's like people just try to find something to complain about all the time, and it's not even personal. It's not even you. They just want to complain. So I'd say just don't change. If you believe in yourself and what you're doing, and if you're confident that it's a good, like you're bringing something, a good value to the world, like don't change for bad comments.
I love it. Super inspirational. And as someone that works in sport media, I see the same comments, whether you're playing or you're starting to cover sports, that, females don't know what they're talking about, or they don't belong in the realm of sports, and you just gotta prove them wrong. And I think it's sometimes a way to be a motivational aspect for yourself to continue to believe in yourself and push those boundaries, whether you're playing sports, coaching sports, or covering sports. So very important topic, and I appreciate the honesty. A couple more questions here before we run out of time. This is from Debbie Burke. When you were a youth in sport and you saw some of your friends drop out of sports, what do you think parents, coaches, or peers could have done to help encourage that player to stay in sport? And she said, from a player, coach, and lover of sport. Anybody?
Okay, I'll take it. Yeah, I guess just for, I grew up in such a small community, so a lot of my teams, we barely had a lot of enough players to play. A lot of the times it was, I guess, just the lack of support. So it was hard. My dad had, my family kind of helped with taking, some of the hockey players with us to practice if their parents couldn't take it. So they would jump in with us, and then we would go practice. So we'd help in that way, take them to tournaments, things like that. But a lot of, I guess, just in a lot of the, First Nations communities, there's just a lack of services. In some communities, poverty. So, it's definitely hard to get past that. But if you have the right support and, we always try to take a lot of the hockey players with us because, we not only needed them to be on our team, but, we loved having them on our team. So we tried to help in any way that we could. And I've had hockey teams that even helped with myself. I had a lot of coaches that, we had tournaments down in Minneapolis, and it's like a 10-hour drive, and my parents just couldn't make it down to Minneapolis. So they'd be like, okay, we'll take her. And then I'd hop in with them. So, I've definitely had a lot of, I guess, a lot of support.
Anything to add, ladies?
I would just add to try to build relationships with those girls and get to the root of the issue. Like if you figure out why they're dropping out, whether it's if they just don't like the sport, then fine, help them find another sport that they enjoy. But if it's the lack of support, lack of access to certain equipment or help, then that way, once you build that relationship and get to the root of the issue, you can start supporting them and helping them so they can continue to stay in the sport. So I think relationships and figuring out the issue helps too.
Yeah, well, I forgot the question because someone's knocking on my door.
Okay. We can move on to a new one. Actually, this is interesting. Don't worry about it. This is from Krista. It was directed at Bridget, but I think we could all kind of comment on this one. She said she's a 10-year-old hockey player and her teammates are boys. Sometimes that's great, but I feel left out because I'm the only girl. What can I do? And I think we can all speak for playing sports that are traditionally more male dominated. How do you find a space if you're the only girl on the team, or you're the only girl at the skate park sometimes, or the only one at the court playing basketball? How can you be like, this is a positive?
Well, I started playing hockey because I loved it. And, I played boys hockey until I was in grade 11. So, I was often, most of the time the only girl on the team, but, once I got older, they just started to treat me as, just one of their teammates rather than, oh, it's a girl, So it took them a while to kind of get used to me being around. And then next thing you know, we're playing on every single team growing up all the way through up until we were, I think it was second year, was it grade 11, I guess. So, yeah, the one thing that just, kept me going was my passion for playing hockey. And that's kind of what I always, I just think back to. And that's what kept me going, was that I had certain goals in place at what I wanted to achieve. And, hockey did open a lot of doors for me. So that's why I was, I guess that's why I played it, because I had one goal in mind and I wanted to do everything I could to get to where I am.
Yeah, so for that question, I would say two things. If you're the only girl at the skate park, if there's other people, if there's other guys, guys are really inclusive in general, I'd say 99%. So it's as I said, it's individual sport, but it's so much more fun to do it with other people. And just if you start skateboarding, it's really fun to start with someone who's the same level as you, because you can challenge each other. So that's really fun. And then the second thing is, I would say to someone today, compared to when I started, is now you have social media, which is really cool because you can meet like so many girls and follow so many girls who skate like in the world, and just like get inspiration from that. So yeah, I'd start with those two things, definitely.
And then just to add to that, I would say, especially for someone who, like me, was super shy and didn't always feel confident, like walking up to the guys and saying, hey, can I join you? Even though I'm a girl, I want to play with you guys. See it as an opportunity to grow and like push yourself outside your comfort zone. Like me having to force myself to gain that confidence within myself and knowing that I am a capable player, to approach the guys and be like, can I join you please? I want to play too. That'll give you confidence with everything that you do in life. And then once you start playing with passion and the love for the game, the guys will respect that. They'll see like, oh, she hoops too. She enjoys what she's doing. Like, I want to play with her. So I feel like Annie said, like once you start playing, they'll become inclusive and they'll let you play with them and join them more often.
I love it. So just before we have to unfortunately end this amazing discussion, I want to ask you each the same question that I asked the last panel. You know, with your final thoughts, if you were your 12-year-old self watching this panel and you could go back and give yourself a word of advice or, you know, speak to your younger self that might be coming up in the roots right now, watching and wanting to follow in your footsteps, what would you say to them as kind of like a goodbye or an inspirational stay in the game type thing?
Can I go?
Yes.
I'd just say that, I mean, like any other activity, it's not about performance first. It's like about having fun, and like, when you do something, do you enjoy it? If you enjoy it, then you should totally keep doing it, you know, and try different things. Do not be afraid to fail. And in skateboarding, that's my only point of reference, but it's like, it's gonna take you so much time before you achieve something that like you'll think is cool, but at the same time, every time you do it, you're gonna you have opportunities to be really proud of yourself, if that makes sense. So it's like, it's a very, yeah, just use that as like a tool of development, but just like the first thing, it's like, make sure you're having fun. Whatever you're doing, whatever sport, whatever activity, make sure you're just genuinely having fun doing it.
Yeah, I guess for myself, it's pretty similar. I guess just, I guess just love what you do and, have fun with it. I've played, the reason why I love playing like different types of sports is because I have fun with it. And that's kind of just like the main thing. If I don't like a sport and I don't find it that fun, I just won't do it. So, but, being an active kid, when I was 12 years old, I loved playing everything. So, just keep pushing and listen to Dad.
I echo everything that they said. Something I'll add to that is something that I had to learn. Don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone. And when you do that, it's okay to fail. I think too often when I was younger, I got so caught up in trying to be perfect and making sure, like even on the court, like I didn't make any mistakes, that I kind of stunted myself. And once I realized, like, hey, Kayla, like in order to grow and do better, you're going to have to sometimes fail and make mistakes. And when you do that, that's how you learn, that's how you grow, and that's how you get to the next part, like to another level, and grow as a human being and as a player. So my encouragement would be step outside your comfort zone, do things that scare you, because those things that scare you are going to get you to where you want to go in life.
That's goosebumps.
100% of the shot cake.
That's right. Oh my goodness. My dad always used to say it to me. And if I could tell my younger hockey playing self something, man, shoot the puck more, right? That's what my dad would say to me. That's what my coaches would say to me. It's crazy, but I really appreciate all of you and our previous panelists for coming today. I hope, it was a great conversation for you, and we're getting just incredible feedback from people that are just so appreciative of you taking this time out of your busy days. I know we're not back in the gym and we're not on the court or in the rink right now, but you're still keeping busy, and I appreciate you taking the time out and sharing this story with us. So thank you to you three. And I guess I want to say a final thank you to Canadian Tire Jumpstart Charities for, helping with the rally report and with today's panel. And a special thank you to everyone in the audience from coast to coast. It's been really amazing to see where everyone's signing in from. I didn't even know that we would get this much attention and this much support. So it's clearly a testament to women's sports being so important and pivotal right now. So I really thank everybody for being a part of this conversation, and we hope to see everyone back out competing shortly, and to see that next generation of Canadian stars that are tuning in today and see you out competing. So thank you to everybody, and guess we'll see you next time.
Thank you.